Welcome back. Today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, the whole idea of wisdom.
And we're using a really interesting lens for that, aren't we?
Yeah, excerpts from Solomon's Prayer for Wisdom. It's an ancient text, but still feels relevant.
Absolutely. The goal is sort of unpacking what this prayer tells us about wisdom, what it is, why it's so important, according to this
Yeah,
source.
what immediately struck me, is you have this incredibly powerful figure, King Solomon,
Right, at the absolute peak of power.
and he's basically saying, I don't inherently have the wisdom I need. That's quite a starting point.
It really is. It's profoundly humble. He calls himself uh, a man weak and short-lived.
Weak, yeah, and lacking in comprehension of judgment and of laws, despite being the king.
Exactly. It sets up this idea that wisdom isn't just something you're born with or get from experience alone. It's something else.
Something beyond just human capability.
That seems to be the core message.
Yeah.
He explicitly says wisdom needs to come from a higher power, from God.
He uses phrases like consort at your throne, right?
And that it was present when you made the world. It's woven into the fabric of creation, almost.
So it's definitely not just being clever or, having a high IQ.
No, not at all. The divine origin implies something much deeper, like a fundamental understanding of reality, aligned with the divine.
What kind of cosmic insight?
Perhaps. Something beyond just logic and reason. More intuitive, maybe.
Okay, so if he believes wisdom comes from this divine source,
Yeah.
what does he actually want it for? Why pray for it?
Well, primarily it's about how to rule. He asked for wisdom to uh, govern the world in holiness and righteousness,
Righteousness, okay.
and to render judgment in integrity of heart. It's about justice, fairness,
So for him, wisdom is the tool for good leadership.
the essential tool, I'd say. It's how he can understand what's right, what's pleasing to God, and make sure his actions are just and acceptable for his people.
It's very focused on ethical governance, isn't it? Not personal advantage.
Precisely. It's about having that moral compass.
And the prayer also touches on why this divine help is so necessary, doesn't it?
Yes, it highlights human limitations. He says things like, deliberations of mortals are timid, and uncertain are plans.
Timid and uncertain. Yeah, that feels true sometimes.
And he even brings in the physical aspect, quote, the corruptible body burdens the soul, suggesting our very nature can cloud judgment.
So we're kind of inherently flawed in our understanding. We can't see the whole picture on our own.
That's the implication. There's this inherent limitation, this incompleteness, without that connection to something greater.
Which makes seeking that higher wisdom absolutely crucial, especially for complex tasks like leading a nation.
Exactly. How else can you grasp what truly matters, what's truly right, unless that wisdom is given?
And the prayer kind of wraps up by saying this wisdom isn't just for knowing things.
Right, it actually guides people.
Guides them to live rightly. It mentions people learning what pleases God and being saved by wisdom.
Correct. It's transformative. It shapes actions, aligns you with a divine purpose. It leads to salvation in the context of the prayer.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the key takeaways here. We've got Solomon, this powerful king.
Acknowledging his deep need for wisdom that comes from beyond himself.
Right, seeing wisdom as divine in origin, essential for just rule, for understanding God's will.
And recognizing that human intellect alone is limited, sort of inherently flawed.
It needs that divine spark, that higher insight.
Definitely. Wisdom is presented as the path to righteous living and ultimately being saved.
So, stepping back from the text for a moment,
Mm-hmm.
it makes you think, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, how do these ancient ideas about needing a wisdom beyond just information, how does that resonate today?
That's a great question for you listening.
Mm-hmm.
In our world, saturated with data and facts,
Right. Endless information.
what does it mean for you to seek a deeper wisdom? Something more than just knowing stuff, something that guides your choices and understanding in a meaningful way.
Yeah. What constitutes real wisdom in your life? Beyond just the data points, something to mull over.